Because if we all want to be clever or hide or are intent to bring something worthwhile and so on, this is what difficulties you all had to deal with the obvious. And the neurotic is simply a person who does not see the obvious. But in order to deal with the obvious, you first must get hold of the obvious. Now, the most obvious factor we encounter in our sphere is the fact that we have two levels of existence, an inner world and an outer world. And the inner world, often called the mind, looks as if it's something different or opposed to the outer world. And the gestalt that forms in our fantasy has to coincide with the gestalt in the outer world in order to come to a conclusion, to cope with life, to finish the situation, and so on and so on. If there's no connection between the two, then you have the person who lives on anastrophic and catastrophic expectation all the time, imagining that he will be rich and famous and so on and so on. Or if you have your catastrophic expectation, you imagine all the time that you'll be punished, people won't like you, and so on and so on. And the lack of checking out, the lack of getting the parallel between the two amounts to the many distortions and real catastrophes in life. Now there's one region where we are really insane, where we have a real private life of insanity, of an inner life unconnected with the external world, or apparently unconnected. And that is the dream. The dream appears to be real. As long as you dream, you're real in that situation. You really experience this as being your very existence, and especially if you are a self-frustrator, then you dream in terms of nightmares. You want to cope with the situation, achieve something, and again, you frustrate yourself. You prevent yourself from achieving what you want to achieve. But you don't experience this as that you are doing it. You experience this as some other power is preventing you. Now we started yesterday with the shuttling between being in touch with the external world and getting in touch with yourself. And once you got in touch with yourself, something usually opened up. And if there's a direct connection, direct communication between the self and the world, you function fine. Then your potential's available. You can call on your own resources. But if you try to withdraw, and you can't withdraw to yourself, but just to that nucleus, that psychotic part in ourselves, that fantasy life, like the computer, the conceptualizing, the explaining, that is why. Or, as the Freudian do, the withdrawal to memories, to the past. Then you never can get to the true self. This Freud never got to the self, always got stuck with the ego.